This is Michael, and I'd like to talk a little bit about overdrives and compressor pedals. I'm a big fan of compression pedals, especially for worship music. I keep mine on maybe 99% of the time. It really helps with evening out your tone, especially with those clean lead lines in worship music with reverb and stuff. It just really helps even out your tone and gives it a really nice shimmery tone to it. So after my volume pedal, I like to go directly into my compressor pedal. Like I said, it's on most of the time, and that serves as like my bass guitar tone of where I like to start. So I'd like to give you an example of the compression pedal right now. So if you're playing a lead line, that sounds great. With the compression pedal, you'll notice all the quiet frequencies all rise up, and it kind of just jumps alive. It helps with sustain as well. It really just kind of flattens it out, evens it out, and makes it sound really good, I think. So I'm a really big fan of compressors with a blend knob. Basically all that means is there's a knob on there that you can blend in your clean, unaffected tone with the compressed signal. A lot of compressors can be really squishy and squashy and just kind of like sound like they're choking out the tone. And blending in some of your unaffected tone really, really helps with that. I'll give you an example really quick. With the blend knob all the way up to where it's all just your unaffected tone, you can hear. And then you can turn the blend knob back to where it's 100% all just affected tone. See how it's really, really, really squashed. I like to set it right about halfway. That way you get about halfway. You get the best of both worlds. There are a lot of compressors out there with blend knobs. Some of them Barber Tone Press, Walrus Audio Deep 6, and Exotic SP compressor are just a few of them, and they all sound great and they're really affordable. So after the compressor, that's when I like to go into the drive pedals, the drive section of the pedal board. There are several different kind of drive pedals, namely fuzz, overdrive, boost, distortion. Most commonly in worship, they're all used, but most commonly we're going to talk about boosts and overdrives. So the order in which you place these make a huge difference based on your amp, what kind of amp you have, the headroom, the wattage, all of that stuff. We're going to talk about first a boost going into an overdrive pedal before the overdrive pedal. What that's going to do is you're going to hit the overdrive pedal with the boost, and that's going to make the overdrive pedal a lot more saturated, very similar to hitting a boost into a lower wattage amp. It's not going to raise the volume up that much more, but it's going to make it a lot more saturated. I'll give you a quick example of that. We have just an overdrive pedal here. So when you hit it with the boost pedal in front of the overdrive pedal, you get a much more saturated sound. So that works really well for lead lines if you're not needing a much more volume, you're just needing a dirtier sound, then that's what you want to go for. On the other hand, if you place the boost pedal after the overdrive pedal, you're going to get a much different response. It'll be much more like putting a boost pedal into a higher wattage amp with a lot more headroom. What you're going to end up with is you're going to be actually boosting the overdriven signal into the amp. That's going to result in a volume boost, most likely, especially with a higher wattage amp. And it's just going to yield a different result. I'll give you an example of that. So just the overdrive pedal right before. Now with the boost pedal afterward, you'll notice it doesn't get a lot dirtier, it just gets a lot louder. And that could be very useful as well in certain situations where you're needing a volume boost instead of just a gain boost. So again, like overdrive pedals, order, very important. It's just super important to learn your gear and know what you're going after for the desired effect. I personally like to have the boost or the lower drive pedals going into the higher drive pedals, mainly because it helps to keep the different drive volumes more consistent.